following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bizbb-radio.com.
Hello there.
Welcome.
Welcome back
To another episode of the 716th Attack Legion podcast.
Hello there, and welcome back to the 716th Attack Legion podcast. We are a mess after watching the last episode of Ahsoka. Oh my god!
I'm like...
This is where the fun begins.
It was...
Oh
my god. Oh my god, like... Me and Julian are crying over here. Like, this is exactly what I wanted from Star Wars.
I have waited for this moment since I was a kid. Like when the Clone Wars movie came out, and I have waited for this for years. Since 2008, we've been waiting for this moment.
This was glorious. I am not disappointed.
No.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler.
It's amazing.
I seriously think that this is the best live action thing we've gotten since Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
My personal opinion.
Christian, how do you feel?
Since Revenge of the Sith.
This is a very, very, very good episode. I do like last episode better.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I
Really?
think last episode is better.
All right.
But I do like this, though. This is exactly what I wanted out of this episode. I just think that last episode was better. I'm not negative on this episode in the slightest, though. This episode exactly what I wanted. I just kind of like the composition of the...
Okay.
That makes,
that
I
makes-
can get
okay.
behind that. So before we start anything, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody. Holy freaking crap. You guys got us on the last React video upwards of, I think we're at 19,000 views and over 800 likes and a bunch of shares and comments and like, guys, holy crap. This means the world to us, and we said this in the React, but we want to say it here. Thank you so much for listening and sharing all of this content and just enjoying it as much as we've enjoyed it. And we hope that you stay with us and stay tuned, because there's going to be so much more, and there's so many things happening, and we're at 1,200 followers on TikTok
Breathe,
now. And all
Julian,
sorts
breathe.
I'm thanking
My
people.
gosh, let him go.
Thank you very much. Where we are right now, we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much. I mean, it's the amount of support we got on the last week on TikTok, and the one TikTok's got 53,000 views, and that and the YouTube videos and everything. Like, it just, you guys have exceeded our expectations and
blew
blown
us
us away.
really.
And we just cannot thank you enough for how much what you've done truly means to us. And I just needed to say that before we start. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and we hope you stay tuned for more, because there's a lot more coming. We have a lot more for you.
From the bottom of our hearts, seriously. It is none of this would be possible if it wasn't for you guys, the fans. And whether you're a fan of Star Wars or you're a fan of us, we are deeply moved by your continued support.
Yes.
Julian, I think I have to say this for all of our audience to hear. You were right.
Oh boy.
About what?
About doing React videos.
Wait a minute. I was on this boat too.
Wait a second.
I'm pretty sure actually I said this.
I
Christian started it,
I'm pretty sure I
and
said
then
this before we did anything.
I was like, this is not a bad idea. And then Jack was on it, and Jordan was like, yeah, it's not going to get any views. And then Rich was like, maybe we'll do one, and we'll see how it goes.
Christian and I have been talking about, just in general for the podcast studio here at Emerge, just to be doing more reaction, because we know that those blow up. So we've been talking about doing reaction videos for months, and we just didn't really ever find something that was the right vehicle that we thought that would be interesting. And you guys took the commitment, and I say this to people, like, yeah, it's fun for us to sit around and watch Star Wars, but we're, in a sense, we're committed to doing this, coming in and watching this and giving up, willing to, you guys are allowing yourselves to be videotaped or videoed.
Yeah.
Acting like a goofball. I got up and cheered last week, and I'm, an old nerd over here.
So not to take away what
Made
you
it
guys
into
said,
the
because
thumbnail.
I'm the pessimist of the group, and I will openly admit that.
Well,
You two are the pessimists. Me
Well,
and
this
Julian
is
are
why
more-
we're the dark side. You guys are the light side.
Yeah.
We get it. But what I was more
I
so
think we're actually in order from maybe like from
Most
pessimist.
controversial to least.
Controversial
It
to
might be.
least.
that is hilarious. You are.
I'm the
You
side.
are.
I think we're like, yeah, just,
all right. We're
like-
changing seats next week.
It's like the. It's
No,
like,
I'm
it's like
definitely-
Roy
No,
G.
no,
I'm,
so
I'm,
bad.
I'm definitely the most negative.
It's
over
the
here.
Roy
Like,
G.
I'm
Biv of
definitely the
evil.
most-
Anyway.
Where I was going with this though is, I wanted to stop after the first week.
You did.
Only because I'm a data-driven person. I wanted to see the analytics behind it first, and Julian really pushed me. He was like, "No, just go with it. Keep doing it." And so that's where I say, Julian, you're right. You were all right, but Julian, thank you for forcing me to stick with this.
Aye, Captain.
So,
But-
do you want to get into
All right,
it?
let's get into
But
it.
now
talk
this
about
is this is really where the fun begins, Master.
That's it.
So,
Let's get into this.
I would say, first talking point, definitely the saddest opening of the
Oh
of
my
the series
God.
yet.
Yeah.
Like
Just
Hu-
sad
Huyang being like showing the emotion it broke my heart.
They gave him eyelids, so he's able to do.
Yeah, they
Yeah, right.
digitized his eyes so that he could be sad, and because they can't. I thought for a second that Jason was gonna find her helmet.
Yeah, I think we all.
And we
did.
all-
I thought that's
kinda-
where they were gonna put it, but then she walks around the corner and he's just there
holding her
So
hand.
I don't think
sad.
anybody expected that he'd be sitting on the rock
No.
around there. That what were we moving toward? What were they walking towards? And then here he is just holding a helmet.
I thought he was going to be on the ship still,
See, I don't think
or at
anyone's-
least within the proximity of the ship, like still trying to work on repairs and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they did a good job of because I didn't look at too many leaks before this, so I'm glad they did such a good job of hiding how prominent of a role that Huyang actually got to play in this. Like Huyang's one of the main cast.
Yeah, he's
like,
in
he's
every
not.
episode.
I thought in the trailer makes it seem like, oh look, it's Huyang there. For the one scene he'll be in, but no, he's Literally Ahsoka's traveling companion.
He's
basically
he's her C-3PO and R2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
best vehicle for exposition in years. And stuff.
yeah, they,
Sure.
I
No,
mean,
good point. That's a real
that
good
is
point.
a very good use to just say if you need information about the Jedi, just put it through Huyang, which is a good writing technique, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He is what's left of the Jedi archives.
Pretty much.
in a
that's
sense,
true.
yeah.
That's true.
is
the
the
Jews
Jedi.
dead.
It's
so
actually
sad.
incredible that he's
Seer's
not
dead.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they've even implied now that a lot of what Seer had collected was kind of what was left. So even when that gets destroyed, that's another huge chunk of what had survived
Yeah.
from the initial purge
Right.
that late into the to how 10 years in I think it would be.
I just
It's
wanna
wild
know-
that he survived if we're being honest. At
That's
all.
what I was just about to say. I want to know how he survived
I kind
and
of
how he got connected with Ahsoka.
I kind of like Christian said this a couple episodes ago. I like that they kind of just yada yada him
Like,
into
yeah,
the
he's here
story,
now.
and he's
Yeah,
there.
he's
Like
just
he's
there.
there, and we're happy about it.
rocked up.
Yeah, he's
know?
just kind of hanging out with it. They don't really have an explanation as to how they.
Can we just
hook
get
up.
a Huyang show?
Yeah, we just got Huyang and Chopper running the show.
Huyang and Chopper miniseries? 4 episodes? Be
No,
great.
a sitcom.
A sitcom.
Yes.
They
it's like
get-
WandaVision, but it's
Yeah,
Huyang and
no,
Chopper.
they get an
What
apartment
are
in
you
Los
doing?
Angeles, and they have to go to
They
work
do,
every
the
day.
Defenders style series where every show crosses over with one another because Carson
Right.
Teva was everyone's boyfriend. Which was
Right.
basically Carson Teva is basically just actually, what's her name? Rosario Dawson played the character in fucking in the Daredevil verse on
She did.
Netflix.
She's the nurse.
Who was just
that's
in
right.
everyone else's show, and Carson Teva is just the night nurse. It's just which is also the most lazy vehicle for connecting your shows ever.
I mean,
One guy.
he's the connection.
Or the Wong, or the most
Wong.
recent
Wong.
MCU trilogy. Because Wong
Hold
is
on,
Wong is the. I know
Don't
we're
just
talking about
start
something
comparing
else now.
Asian people.
No. In the way that Wong is the only connecting thread in all of Phase 4 of the entire MCU is just Wong.
All
showing
right,
up
wrong
before
universe.
But yeah, he's
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I think the next talking point I have is that Jason was able to hear into the world between worlds.
We totally skipped over the
a big chunk
big
of what
thing
happened
of-
here, bud.
Well, hold on, we're getting there. I think I
Yeah,
wanted
so
to
he
save
could.
the juicy
I mean,
stuff
he
until
could tell.
Yeah,
He could tell that they were that there was something off, and Hera was like, "Wait a sec!" But then she started to hear
started to
what
hear
was
it too.
going on. Like she could hear them, in the world between worlds. Like, she knew something was going on, which makes me think a little bit. Like,
Huyang said it best, or not Huyang, maybe somebody said it best. George Lucas actually said it best. He goes, "It's not." Oh, it may have been Huyang too. It's not. It's one's ability to use the Force and training and skill that mean it. So if she knows how to listen and picking up stuff from Kanan all those years,
I mean,
or she's just really good at active listening.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think they might be cluing in that she might be a little Force sensitive-ish.
You have to be a little Force sensitive to be a pilot in the Star Wars universe.
The Force is in everyone.
I mean, the Force is in everyone, but like being able to hear into the world between worlds is like a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even know necessarily like if that was the full on like world between worlds like we saw like in like Rebels.
I think it
was more
was.
like.
I think it was purgatory.
No,
but definitely wasn't purgatory because like
it was a version.
Because
of
I don't
world
think
between
like
worlds.
every Jedi gets to go there and talk to their master when they're on like because of the verge of death. Like Ahsoka was like at an in between point where like I think if she chose to die in that moment or didn't get the message that Anakin was
we
trying
had
to
this
send her.
discussion last podcast, and we like blew up and started arguing and stuff. And I found a clip and I sent it to everybody. Between these two, is that you don't necessarily need to go through a portal to get into the world between worlds. If you're in a meditative state, you can access it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch that clip.
Yeah, I know. No one ever listens to what I text.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it has to be
I
just
just
a
don't
portal, but
remember
also we don't know all of the details because this is.
Well, I just assume the Mortis stuff is. Well, I assume World Between Worlds is somehow Mortis related. Again, none of this, all of this is very loosely based.
Yeah.
But again, the entrance that we know for a fact because of Rebels that like the World Between Worlds and Mortis gods are somehow linked.
Well,
we don't
we
don't really know
entrance to
why or how they're linked, but
You know
they
what?
just are.
I'm super glad they yada yada'd it a little bit.
No, but
and
didn't need to go into the
and go
nitty-gritty of
too
it,
deep
like-
into the nitty gritty because I think that would have been like, huh, for a lot of fans, and they wouldn't have liked that, and it would have killed time. Instead, just get me to the good stuff.
Yeah, if you
She's
know what it
there.
is, you know what it is.
Yeah.
You get
Right.
it very clearly if you've seen Rebels. But if you're not, it's just a
Yeah.
very cool, like kind of ethereal,
And-
like realm that you can kind of go into.
Right.
And again, maybe Ahsoka only gets that choice because, like, she has the daughter's like energy, and that's like a Mortis god related
that's
thing.
true.
So
And-
maybe that she gets that second chance because it's related to that. Maybe every time.
Technically
something
now
like
it's
this
her
happens.
third chance.
And
She's
also, like
already
Anakin shows up
Yeah.
in this.
She
Obviously.
died when the brother took her over.
All right, let's get
No,
to
but I'm
this
pretty
thing.
sure that
So-
Anakin is
but-
like because Anakin's in this. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure
so-
Anakin is basically every.
father.
No, I think he's all three.
Probably.
I think he basically just embodies all three of the Mortis gods.
Or
now in
he's
one
he's
human.
the father and the brother, and then Ahsoka's the sister.
No, I just think it's one of those things where Ahsoka got like some like maybe isn't like necessarily one of like the three now because that might be like a little bit too much of a like power.
Okay,
up,
so
But anyway, so
talking
now
I got
about
you, yeah.
the biggest part of this episode, Anakin and Ahsoka talking in the world between worlds.
so there's like they're standing on that bridge and they're just shooting the shit, and he's like he said, I have to finish your training. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? Like, what training? Like, what does he mean by that? Because we didn't necessarily see like training, I guess.
I wanted
you could
to see
say, like, I'm not sure what he taught her.
So I have a
I wanted to say a snide
whatever.
comment in there. So the rule of the Jedi is that in order for somebody to be the rank of master, they have to train a Padawan to the rank of Jedi Knight. Being that Ahsoka left the order, technically her training was incomplete and she didn't make it to Knight. Semantics. For
Actually,
now.
you know what this is? You know what this probably is? It is World Between Worlds, but it's more similar to the one episode in Rebels where Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan go to the temple.
Yeah,
on
they
Lothal.
access that-
Which again, that is the same temple actually with the
that
World
was
Between
part of the
Worlds.
clip I
so-
sent. But let's let Jordan
finish.
So he goes, I'm here to finish your training. I just wanted to be like, does that mean I'll finally get the rank of master?
No, Mace Windu comes in out of nowhere.
Mace
No.
Windu just reaches in, he goes,
Give me your
we do
MasterCard.
not.
So
I want to apologize too because I went back and checked on those. It was when we started to gain all that traction on TikTok, so I lost those in the messages because we started to get all that traction.
okay,
so I apologize.
So Ahsoka definitely showed some resentment towards Anakin when they were first talking.
Yeah,
Like she
yeah.
was upset with him.
I mean, I think that
And
makes
I don't know if
sense.
it's because, like, obviously she fought him as Vader, but like, I don't know. It didn't seem in that moment that she was like upset. Like she was more like, I'm staying with you. I'm not gonna fight you.
I mean, she knows what he becomes.
Yeah.
So when they start lightsaber fighting,
But even the line that leads up to that, like I'm not going to fight you, and I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Or that's someone told me that. Like he totally says like, yeah, my kid said that to me. Like he might as well have said, my son said that to me. Like a while back. Like,
yeah, he says, "I will not fight you."
I will. She's like, yeah, I've heard that before. Like it's like
It's a very subtle way of putting it instead of like having like I talked to Luke.
That's right.
Yeah,
because then it's like, well, wait a second, what the hell is this guy?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's like like it's so, that's why it's so cool.
Yeah, and so like and also first off, the lightsaber fight was
Oh my God.
Really good.
I mean, the choreography was, as I'm going to put it, fucking delicious. It was so well choreographed. I mean, it was Hayden Christensen in his like prime.
He did his move.
He did his
always
like
really good at
signature
it,
spin
so.
move, and he just was absolutely killed it. But I think the thing I was most excited about was, which again was a little concern I have about World Between Worlds, I guess, is he literally like slices the bridge out from under her and then she drops.
My next thing is, and I brought it up and Christian kind of said no, but like, is there a deeper level in the World Between Worlds?
Yeah, I just don't think that was like the full on like realm.
Yeah,
I think
I
Ezra
kind of
was
agree.
in like an actual physical like place with
Yeah,
like physical
I think she
doorways.
was in
Whereas
more
I
of a
think
state
she
of
was
mind.
in like
we didn't see any doorways or anything.
That was the thing I was going
Okay,
to say.
but here's the thing: when Ahsoka and Ezra go into the world, like access it, when they're on the Lothal Temple, there's no like pathways. They're kind of just on a stationary platform.
No, there's pathways.
No, there's pathways.
Is
There's
there?
definitely pathways.
Yeah, there's definitely pathways,
You
and there's
see 'em
definitely
all around on
definitive
different
doorways
levels
too.
and tiers.
And I think the
stuff.
other thing
and the
too,
gravity doesn't make any sense.
the other thing
and stuff.
too is that it kind of, the only thing that I have to say about this is like it's definitely, I mean, it is definitely a version of World Between Worlds. I mean, the literally just the layout is very, similar, and like every time you walk on the bridge, it kind of glows under your feet. That kind of thing is very
was getting
like
Avatar
exactly World
vibes.
Between Worlds. Yeah, but the World Between Worlds in Rebels is black and white, and this is very blue, and you
Very
don't.
spacey.
And I think, I mean, I'm pretty on with Rich on this, is that you don't see any doorways in this version. So I kind of agree with Christian that it might not be in the full realm, but that was because Ezra literally went through a portal and was in a physical place. She was in more of a meditative like mind.
I think that's a nice way
Like,
to.
I think
And
he
I
has like
think
latent
that-
energy or whatever, like or force and stuff
Well,
associated with that.
and I think
place
that's
because
why-
of her daughter, because she's been in the world, because
But I
she's
think-
traveled through that realm.
Well,
before.
the thing that I wanted to say was that like what we got in this episode versus what we got in the episode of Rebels was like, so Anakin slices the bridge out from under her and she falls into a Clone Wars flashback on Ryloth, which by the
Amazing!
way, best moment of the entire episode.
Yeah,
Anakin
great.
in his Clone
Anakin
Wars
in his
outfit,
Clone Wars
short
garb.
hair.
We got Captain Rex. We got all the 501st.
The short hair.
And also, well, we'll get into this in a second, but she literally drops into a memory and is very conscious that she is in a former version of herself.
So that
Which, wait a sec. The thing that, well, let me finish my thought here, is the reason that I kind of am agreeing with Christian that we are in a different version of it is like in Ezra's version, he literally like reached through a portal and altered time.
Yeah, like that wasn't
Like
what was going
there was
on here.
a definitive, like he was in a physical place and he could go in and alter the path of how things were going by pulling her out. But also like he couldn't show up and like if he walked through that portal, he wouldn't have been in young Ezra's body. Like he would have walked out. Well, he wouldn't have done that because we saw his hand come out of the portal.
That's true.
So it was two physically different beings. She drops into a different version of herself. So that, I think, kind of gives us the idea that it might not be the definitive like portal area.
That's true.
So that's, and I think it's pretty smart actually, so that you could get that reconnection with Anakin and they can talk about it.
Again, she was underwater that whole time, which implies that she went like somewhere.
Into a sort of dream state
She
or
definitely
meditation.
left the physical realm
so
Sure, yeah.
that's
because she wouldn't be able to survive a whole day underwater. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that's kind of where I was going with my whole thought, and I don't think she was in the whole day underwater either. I think we're talking like a span of 15 minutes. Because
No,
remember,
that-
the,
no, a while, bro.
let me
They did like
explain.
5.
Well,
they
they did the
literally
sweeps.
3
I'm talking
rotations at
about.
one point,
I'm
and
talking
that's
about
it.
before they get to the planet. I think there's like a duration of like a shorter. It's not a whole day, but I think it's definitely a couple hours.
I think by the time they get from there to Huyang, though, just all right,
She's
whatever.
definitely not just floating around in the water.
No,
for-
she's definitely left the
She's
water.
not in a
But-
banta tank.
I think, what if she went in, not necessarily the world, yes, we're calling it the world between worlds, and I think Dave Filoni's calling it that as well, but not so much the world between worlds, but a manifestation of the living force.
All right, let's get to some cool stuff. Let's talk about we could spend 2 hours talking about it.
So-
and let's get to like
Okay.
the substance of what we get to see though. Like there's
So-
some really cool ass
so
shit
Clone
that we've
Wars.
never
Clone
seen
Wars.
before.
So
Clone
we,
Wars.
we get a Clone Wars battle on Ryloth, and first off, me and Julian were talking about this between the reaction and now, but Ariana Greenblatt, that's her name.
Yeah, so Ariana Greenblatt plays
Young
young
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka in this.
She is
she's
phenomenal.
not only is she phenomenal, but for those who don't know who she is, she plays the daughter in the new Barbie film. And she is a phenomenal actress. I mean, her acting is stunning. She's just really, really talented. So, like, props to her. And she nailed it.
She did.
Like, she nailed young Ahsoka. She got all the wit. She got all the attitude. And I think it's like, I mean, she just killed it. And her with Hayden, their reactions,
the
their
costume
actions together
designs
was
of
great.
the costume designs of this episode were flawless. The Phase 1 clone troopers.
I'm glad
and
to
then
see they brought that back,
Yeah,
too.
Phase 1 clones.
and then we jump forward a little bit, and we see the Phase 2 clones. We see Rex.
Yeah, two
Captain
versions
Rex
of
with Tamora
yeah.
Moison's voice.
Both. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do both Rex's armors just cause I can."
That was awesome to me. The fact that they showed Rex's armor. Like, yeah, he's in the background. He doesn't have but he's there.
He's
But
there.
he came in and during the Siege of Mandalore section and had lines and
Yeah,
like
the
walked up to her
Tamora
and
Morrison
spoke
lines.
to her. We didn't see his face.
I'd
but
like
I
that
think
we got Ahsoka's clone armor too. It was prominent.
Yeah,
that it
you
was
could
her
see, like,
Oh,
helmet.
you could see the orange
painted-
paint. Yeah, and
I
I.
Mandalore outfit. Actually.
So
Yeah.
the first section I really like is like when you get Clone Wars Anakin, he's in like his red and blue
He's in his red and blue
outfit, and
in
he's
that
got
outfit
his
right there.
he's got his like he's got his
guard.
clone gear and his pauldrons and all that sort of stuff, and his short hair. I mean, Hayden Christensen looks great, and he nailed Matt
Yeah, for
Lanter's
sure.
version of Anakin. Like it wasn't. You could tell it was Hayden Christensen's version from the movies, but it was Hayden Christensen playing Clone Wars Anakin. It was very specific.
That performance to me was 100% like season 7 of Clone Wars when he walks up onto the bridge and he's like, "What are you doing down there? There's only like 1,000 battle droids over there."
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's
it
got
was
like
great.
that like upbeat like, "Oh, I'm gonna win this battle no matter what."
The cockiness and the arrogance of Anakin. I think this is now where I start to see Anakin as one character rather than two.
Oh, I've been saying this forever. Yeah,
I think,
What
but
finally,
this is
I think
that
the
image.
I've already been able to do that in my mind, especially since probably season 7. Like, definitely kind of puts that into stone. But like this, 100%
Solidifies.
it merges the two.
I mean,
into,
it's
one,
literally
kinda.
the actor playing the character.
Yes.
And then they
you
got
know.
flashes to Vader as well, which even connects.
Oh,
that
Well,
character.
so we
my
got to talk about
God.
the coolest shot in the whole
Which that's
show.
why I think it's more vision, than something physically happening.
Right, so
Because it's very much like I said, like that when they have to it's like Luke's when Luke has to go into the
And
temple
the cave
on
in Dagobah.
on Dagobah or but it's like the cave in Dagobah at the same time as like one of with the conversations when Obi-Wan comes back and talks to Luke about how to get through something, but it's a little bit more I'm not gonna give you the answer because that's how Anakin would do
But
it. He wouldn't tell you.
doesn't Yoda have a similar experience when he in that one episode of
Yeah, he goes and fights his evil clone.
Yeah, it could be
on
similar to
Dagobah.
that as well.
it had a lot of that. It had a lot of that feeling of stuff that we've seen, which is again part of the Jedi whatever mysticism that we don't necessarily need to explain exactly what it was. But I mean, I have to say because it was kind of funny. It was because it was kind of like Christmas Carol-y though. It was kind of like the Anakin Skywalker of past. Like it was kind of like you're seeing younger versions of yourself so you can learn and move on from it. But I'm not complaining because it was friggin' cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, even
so-
the background stuff, the stupid walkers and stuff, and the
Oh
the
my
feeling
God.
of war that we don't
AT-RTs
really.
and-
It had a feel of the war in Attack of the Clones that was done poorly. But then you yelled out, Christian, I think, which game were you referencing?
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront, but also Clone Wars. Like it really.
That was more for the Timur.
But it really gave me. If I think of all the genres that we can watch Star Wars in, film, animation, and video games, and it was like, let's do it all at the same time.
You know what? Okay, so here's what I'll say. We'll jump back to the World Between Worlds real quick. I think it was most like when Kanan enters it, and he goes and fights the Grand Inquisitor, and then he gets knighted. Like, I don't think that was really.
Oh, in the meditative state in the temple.
Well, none of that same thing happened to Ezra and Ahsoka at the very same time, and none of them were like physically I remember there's one vision that Ezra had where he's literally running around like an entire temple the entire time, and shit's happening to him, and none of it happened. It's like realistically.
So I think that's a pretty solid way.
Yeah, and Filoni's done that a lot. He's done that in Clone Wars. He's done that in Rebels. So I think it's a likely leap that he would bring it to this.
I don't think another director could have brought this to light.
No, absolutely
This
not.
had to
I
be
mean,
directed by
it
Dave
had to be
Filoni.
directed by Dave Filoni, and speaking of directing, we have to talk about the best shot in the entire episode, which is literally young Ahsoka watching Clone Wars Anakin just walk into battle, and it just cuts to Darth Vader for a second, and then it cuts back to him because she knows what he becomes, and it's so.
And I think
it's like the beginning of the
I
war.
think
This
that's where
that
the
moment
resentment
too.
comes in. Like, she's like,
she knows what he is.
Like, she even said it in the show, where it's like, if I'm you, then I'm not a good. Then I'm not good.
I'm essentially Sith. Yeah.
I'm evil.
Because he says to her, like, if I'm everything you are, which is like,
you're a legacy. Like
all the great that is as great as you were as my master, and like being the only one that like protected me at the end, like when everyone in the temple turned on me.
Yeah.
As good as like as I've seen you be, I've also seen like you be Vader, and like what like the war like kind of turned you,
so
helped turn you.
And
into
so he gets mad from that.
Yes,
he gets very frustrated with her.
I don't even think he's getting mad. I think he's frustrated more. He's more frustrated with her because she's like not got like,
she's not
visions that because again he's there to help her.
Yeah.
So it's more like I think he's more playing the part of like the
teacher.
Like yes, like he's like only attacking her because he's trying to get her to.
To like reignite
but
that.
then
to understand.
But then
it's literally it's Kanan. Yes, it's the Grand Inquisitor doesn't want to kill Kanan in the vision he has, like in the Jedi Temple, but he's being the villain because Kanan needs to learn something in that moment. He needs to play the physical, barrier to what she needs to learn.
Yeah.
So before Julian, you made a very bold statement in regards to what you thought was the most visually perfect scene of the show. I don't think that was.
What do you think was the best?
I think the perfect depiction was when they go into the world between worlds and you see Anakin's blade as a red, and you get to see Vader and what Vader would have been if he wasn't.
I'm not talking about the scene. I'm talking about the shot.
He's talking about the composition. He's just talking about the film composition.
The
I misunderstood.
Composition of that shot, and the camera doesn't move. It's a shot of him, and then it cuts to Vader, and then it cuts back to him, and it's just him.
It flashes
walking.
in and out,
and you can tell that like when filmmakers do things like this, like that's creating a style.
Yes,
and only like it really. I always say this when I work with directors is that like when you're because he's in the industry. When you're doing things like this, you're creating a style. And Dave Filoni has a tendency to show a lot of that without having to do crazy camera motions and things like that. Especially like in this show, it's a lot of wide shots, and wide shots grow tension and things like that. And I just like and we felt it. You know what I mean?
Inside information here.
Like we felt that. I know you guys are being dicks to me about this, but I'm being genuinely serious.
No, I agree with you.
It's like
no, you're right.
If you've ever like every time you work on a movie, all right, fuck it. I'm in the industry, fuck it. Every time you work on a movie, specifically the movies I've worked on, consistently, the producers are always like, you have to create a style. You have to get these shots. These shots create tension. Because a lot of the directors that they hire don't know these things. They're just hiring directors who wrote the script versus people who've never directed before. Yeah. So they're going to hire somebody who wrote the script who has no idea what they're doing. When you're directing something, you're creating a style that really, really, really impacts the viewer's experience elements of the show. And Dave Filoni nails it with things like this. The very, very first shot we see of Anakin in this episode is not a shot of Anakin. It's a wide shot of them. And you can tell they're distant. There's a lot of space between them, all that sort of stuff. Jordan,
And then when
I know
he walks
you're
up,
trying to rush me, but-
no. And then saying then he walks up.
And then he walks up to her, yeah. And it's
'Cause
like
Dave
things
Filoni-
like that are really important in storytelling, and this episode nails it.
Because Dave Filoni is a storyteller. He's
Right.
not a big shot director. He's not someone who's coming in to make a quick buck. He wants to tell a story.
He's an animation, like, at his core, like, of what he was. Like, when he was hired at Lucasfilm for animation, when they literally created it, like, at the fucking start.
Yeah.
Like, to when he was worked on fucking Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's
Amazing
he
show.
creates storyboards. Like, he storyboarded Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
What animators are good at is, like, especially because in animation, like, and a lot of people talk down on animation as, like, an art form in general. But, like, it's very specific. And, like, the composition of shots and, like, where things place is very much there. Again, that maybe doesn't give you the same, like one-to-one as like what being a live action director like does, and that's why it's taken him this long to get to this point. But like in terms of like being able to stylize and like composite like excellent shots, like he's always been able to do that.
Yes.
Like it's just translating it over to
No,
this.
you
medium.
conveyed that very well,
I
Julian.
have one request. Lego, please make a World Between Worlds with Anakin and Ahsoka. I will pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for
Maybe
that.
just a giant room.
No,
and
it
it's
just needs
to
to be
them.
the bridge
Just do,
and them.
do like a throne room scene from the 40th
Give me
anniversary set.
$20
style.
and whatever.
Hey, so I want to.
Anyway,
Oh, go
So
ahead.
there's a scene there. They go through and then like, you know, they're seeing different things, and then we go to the purge. Is it the
Siege of
Mandalore?
Mandalore.
Siege of Mandalore, and then we end up in a situation where, like, they're fighting again. Now he's got the red saber, and he's got you know Anakin's episode 3 eyes, and it's really good. I thought that
The light.
a lot of people online we've discussed that thought we were going to see
Twilight of the Apprentice.
Twilight of the Apprentice, and we didn't get that, and I'm fine
I'm
because
fine
I
with
think
it.
this was better, and I've been saying
already seen
whatever we were gonna get. I was hoping better than anything I could have thought of because I'm just a guy,
Yeah, they gave us
and
new
they
stuff.
thought of something better.
They didn't just show us like the live action version of something we've already seen. They gave us new things.
Exactly.
Like,
Okay.
Well, the
yeah.
point I want to make real quick too is that again we're talking visual storytelling. Like we see Anakin with his yellow eyes and all that sort of stuff, but I want to make a note that when he's fighting with the red lightsaber blade, it's not the Darth Vader lightsaber.
So
It's
I-
Anakin's hilt.
There's a
with
little-
the red blade. That means something.
Yeah.
There's a little homage there. Homage.
Homage.
There's a little nod there
Nod,
to
just say nod.
there's a little nod there. I did it on purpose.
I know.
There's a little nod there back to the old Hasbro toys. You guys might be too young for
No,
it.
I remember
Yeah,
those.
the color switching ones.
So the color switching Anakin lightsaber where it changed from red to blue when you use the Youngling Slayer 3000.
The lightsaber fights in this episode were like her and Balin's fight was great.
Did he do the one move?
He did do the one
he
move.
did.
That's
the
from
one
the
move.
deleted scene. Like, is that what he did at one point?
The behind the
yeah,
back.
the behind the back spin
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I thought he did that. I was like, oh my god, he did the move.
Even the young Ahsoka versus Anakin, like it was very quick, but even that was
we got green
great.
lightsabers, blue lightsabers. I mean, it was great.
And then we
Yeah,
get
they
back
got all of Ahsoka's lightsabers.
we get back to the world
Side
between
Shoto,
worlds.
Little Shoto, the green Shoto.
We get back to the world between worlds, and it's them fighting on the bridge. And Anakin, like, this is the moment it kind of clicks for her, where she's like, he's not trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And you can see it later in the episode, but like that young Ahsoka kind of like spark and like childness and like uppity attitude is back.
That was the
Like,
thing that I
returns of
liked
it,
is
yeah.
that Christian kind of said, and all these people have been saying, you know, Ahsoka seems so miserable. And I guess I was so excited for the character that I didn't notice it until her personality shifted in this episode. And then I was like, holy shit, she was kind of miserable for the last like 3 episodes. Like, what the fuck?
Well, like
and
her
I'm starting to
stoicness-
realize now, like
her stoicness is even in Rebels, I think, is yes, it's a part of being an older like Jedi by that point, but part of it is also like I've seen some shit.
Yeah.
Like that, and people always forget about that aspect of it. Like no, like Ahsoka's had a fucking like she's been through quite a fucking.
Well, yeah,
lot.
This is
Like,
like part of
talks
her
of-
closure, though.
This is her
talks
trauma.
about
This is
it.
closure. This is like an end, like because again, the Anakin and like what he became, and like even or like because he trained her, and like the idea that maybe I have some of those same components that because they were very similar.
Well,
like everyone said that they were very similar to each other.
Well, she talks
Like,
about it like when
Huyang says it.
in the first flashback. She talks about like, well, if I'm ever gonna train a Padawan one day, I don't wanna be a warrior. I want to train them as a Jedi.
And then he says, "Do you even want a Padawan?"
She resented that her legacy, her time is this like wartime. Like,
And I think that plays a big deep part as to maybe why she didn't want to train Sabine in the first couple episodes, because she didn't want to pass down that legacy.
So, you're talking about that, but then as this is all going on and she's going through these flashbacks, we're getting Huyang and Hera talking on the ship, and she's like, "Well, what was her master like?" And he's like, "Intense." So it's
yeah,
like,
so that's the
but
understatement,
I love
yeah.
the eyes on Huyang at that point, because then he's like, "How do I word this?"
So am I supposed to read that Hera doesn't realize that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker?
I don't think
the
no one
galaxy-
really knows.
No, the galaxy knows at this point. Well,
Do they?
It depends if this is it depends because in Bloodline or whatever the hell that stupid book is that everyone likes, or in like Aftermath. Because remember, like Leia in the sequel in the Disney canon, as opposed to like her Legends canon, where she gets to be like Chancellor eventually. Leia's not able to forge the same type of like political influence in the Disney canon because her dad was Darth Vader.
Well, at the current moment,
that's
she's a
literally
senator.
literally the reasoning. Even though it's like very documented that her father for like her entire actual life was
Bail
Organa, like it's
terrible.
Utopia planet senator.
I think-
who
I think-
funded the rebellion.
I don't necessarily know that. Oh no, she does call him Anakin in like the first episode. She's like, Anakin never got to finish my training. Yeah, I guess we are led to believe that.
The galaxy knows.
The galaxy knows what.
I don't
No,
think
I
it's
guess
that
what
widespread,
I think
and
is
it
Hera
didn't
doesn't
feel like
know.
Hera knew.
I don't
I
feel like
agree.
the galaxy knows.
I feel like
I-
there's a certain
'cause
group
I
that
know
knows.
that- Yeah, I think.
Again,
Well,
I don't
because
think they
the-
could totally be overwriting
Well, because
their
they've
own canon.
they've talked about this a
they've done
lot,
it
and
multiple
this
times
is
already.
why I really only pay attention to like. There's a fruit fly in here and it's killing me. I really only pay attention. Like I haven't read any books. I haven't paid attention to any other media other than movies and video games and TV shows. And I think like everybody was like, "Oh, Anakin was the face of the Empire when the Chancellor took over." But nowhere in the visual canon have we ever seen something like that. And I know that that's like canonical. Like he has put Anakin as like the face of like
He was the
saved
poster boy of the
Empire.
Clone
He was the
Wars.
poster boy of the Clone
Well,
Wars.
we have that as canon. There is canonical shit for that, but yeah,
But not visual.
sure.
Not visual canon. And I think the way that
Like,
they
we
are
don't see it in
portray-
Clone Wars. There's not an arc that has.
No,
like,
but I'm
nothing in
saying
Rebels
like
either.
the idea from what I've heard, there was a.
well, Vader's not the face of the Empire at any point. Vader is very much a
He
mysterious
is in
figure.
Solo.
No, Vader is not. Vader is
In-
not.
but what-
no, Vader
yeah.
is not a. Most of the
And
Imperials.
that's- yeah,
don't,
I think
most
that-
Imperials don't even understand
yeah,
what
they
Vader
don't
is.
know he-
And I think
Vader
that's
rocks
the-
up and everyone is terrified of him because they're
And-
like, "Who the fuck is this random like
think
magic dude
that's-
with a lightsaber blade?"
I think that's the
like,
thing is so that's why that kind of leads into like if Anakin is the poster boy, great, makes sense, but I don't think anybody knows that he is also Darth Vader.
Well, to be fair, even in the outside of like say the book stuff that I mentioned, just thought of an actual more relevant point. The whole idea that because like of Leia being like a general in Force Awakens, which as like a Legends, like you're like a Legends guy, feels wrong. By that point in her timeline to be General Organa still, like it's not right, but because
Isn't she Senator Organa right now?
she's
well,
senator
currently
now,
at the
but
moment
again,
she's
which is
senator,
different.
which they talk about in this episode.
In Heir to the Empire, she's a senator for a very long time.
And
and
eventually she gets to be
they're-
chancellor at some point.
Yeah, but
Which
she's
makes
also
a lot
Jedi
more
in training.
sense.
Yeah, which
Makes a lot
takes
more
it
sense
later
than
in
her
life.
still being in the military.
Yeah.
But
that
I'm
makes
saying,
sense
but
in
she's the
this-
resistance in this because of almost she's like been slightly ostracized because she like, literally because like in the canon for this point. Like it's because like she's Skywalker blood, which is stupid.
Well, I don't necessarily think that's the case.
So
I don't
unless they've
think
overridden it, which I'll be happily
I
will
don't.
do if you
I
want to
don't
admit
think
they've
that
overridden
that's.
it.
I mean, we're getting off topic, but I don't think that's why Leia is a general.
It's like yeah,
He got his shot in.
It's just.
You didn't even get it. He got his shot in about the sequels, and you weren't even.
Oh no, I'm about to comment on the sequels. Don't worry. But here's the thing: is I think this is like.
Well, that's not.
I don't think
one at a time. One at a time.
Why is the Emperor in it?
Jordan.
That doesn't make
Put
any
that away.
sense.
Like I don't think that the reason that you've explained is the reason she's a general in Force Awakens. Like if you literally think about it, she's a senator right now. And then the First Order rises. Well, she's not going to be a fucking
general
senator
is because
anymore.
that they don't have an army and they're
Yeah.
they're doing like an outside of the because
No,
the
but I'm
resistance
saying, like-
isn't technically like sanctioned.
It's not a
Okay.
New
in the
Republic
sequels
thing.
by like the New Republic. They're like an outside organization
but you have to
because
think
they
about
wanted to make it like they
Let's-
wanted to
let's-
force the rebel empire vibe again.
Let's let Julian finish his comment, and
If
then
you
we
were-
can stop
Now I'm
talking.
done.
if
about
you were a
this.
senator, and then all of a sudden, and you're Princess Leia, and you're a senator at this point in time, which is very recent. I think this is 5 or 6 years after
5 or 6, yeah.
after Return of the Jedi. You're a senator, and then the First Order rises up and becomes the most powerful thing in the galaxy. You're not going to be a fucking senator for the First Order, so she's going to drop down to general for the Resistance. Like, that just makes sense.
Well, but I don't think the path like general and whatever.
Anyway,
Move on.
let me say this. Anakin was definitely not a flashback person who found his way into the
No,
world
that wasn't
between
that.
worlds.
No. He wasn't.
I was right. And
no,
you
he
all
was not
were
a
wrong.
Force ghost.
No,
He wasn't a Force ghost, you were
I came around to your
wrong.
idea by the end. I was like, okay, Jack's probably right.
He was
by
a
the end.
a
A
memory.
I would say he's a
was a
manifestation of
manifestation.
the Force, but he's not.
I don't think he's a Force
I
ghost.
think he was a Force
I think he was a
ghost.
memory.
But he definitely wasn't. You guys were all like, "Oh yeah, he on Mortis somehow found his way into the world between worlds."
Well,
that
yeah,
was
I guess we're
definitely
wrong.
not what happened.
No, but so I mean, I don't think he's a. Well, I don't know if he's a Force ghost like that. That version. I mean, he's a Force ghost now because he is one. Like physically is one in universe. But I think like in this episode, what we're seeing of him is. Like, I think this is just him talking to her, and she's just seeing... Because if he was a Force ghost, he wouldn't be able to shift all those different personalities in time, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he would...
if they're in like whatever they're in.
If
I
he was
mean,
a
may-
Force ghost, he would be translucent and blue like Obi-Wan.
No,
right?
because on Mortis,
Okay.
on Mortis, Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't.
Anyway,
Get wrecked.
Anakin's there,
I
and
would
that's
be
the
like
important
the
thing.
fucking like the most obscure bullshit. Like
Anyways,
actually, I'm Mortis.
okay,
I
so-
literally, that is why. But literally, that stupid ass reason is why by the end I was with you.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, Jack's right. The one other Mortis related thing, that was a physical guy there. So sure.
All right, what
Jack's
about
correct.
Jason? We have to talk about
Jason's-
Jason a little bit.
Jason was good in this episode.
Jason was great.
Yeah.
I loved Jason.
He had a
Jason was like
character.
the other important plot line of this episode.
Yeah.
I love he wasn't just a write-off
He
character.
No,
he
he's
finds
more than a
Ahsoka
cameo.
in the water. They pick her up. She half puts on her Ahsoka the white outfit, but by the end of it,
She's fully Ahsoka.
But he can also hear what's going on, which is like, okay, so like, what the like, so is it in her head? Is it physical? Like, what the fuck is going on?
He heard what was
She was
happening.
definitely in the world between worlds.
He's definitely there. That's not just her floating around in the water
No.
like the like
'Cause
the
he said, "I could
the
hear
you know
you
the
fighting
the
someone."
movie mean of everybody who falls into water and then they float. And then they always float down, and then they have like an out of body experience. Like it's every movie,
sure.
James Bond. It's like it's a Hollywood trope. And this wasn't that. This was clearly World Between Worlds, and he is connected because obviously his father's been there. Plus, he's obviously has ability in the Force.
So, I like that. Just the small, stupid little humor things that are in it, and you're like, "Well, have you seen a Jedi starship?" And he's like, "No."
Yes.
And he goes, "I'll show you the training room." And he goes, "Will you train me?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Well, do you know how to build a lightsaber?" And he goes, "No."
Yes.
Or yes, he goes, "Yes." And then he goes, "Will you teach me how to build one?" He goes, "No." I'm just like, shot it down
Huyang's
right there.
hilarious
He's like, "Nope, done." Huyang's the best character of the show.
But then, okay, like we're talking about how beautiful this episode is. Ahsoka and the Purrgils, like her stepping
Yeah,
outside of the
pretty
ship.
Quickly, when she comes back from the World Between Worlds, they start like almost shooting her differently as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
lighting on her
The
beams.
lighting is all
lighter.
bright now.
Yeah, she's like
Shoot her in a
bathed in
very
like
bright
light
That's
the entire
very
time,
Revenge
and,
of the
like,
Sith, Anakin Dark, Obi-Wan Light camera angles and lighting on the set.
It's definitely she's Ahsoka the White without going crazy over the top with it.
Well,
like
she has the
full
cloak by the end.
Gandalf.
She has the cloak and the gloves. By the
Yeah,
end.
but she's not like. But it's not like she's Gandalf.
Well, she
in
doesn't
it,
have the staff, which the staff was very much, I think, like the symbolicness. Of
She's
that,
not riding a
like,
horse into a battle.
Exactly like
no, the god of horses into battle.
But
But
right.
you always forget that the horse he was on was a literal god. So
she
I forgot about that.
the god of horses.
She
or whatever
steps
it
out
is.
onto the ship.
Horsey God.
She's like, I'm gonna go talk to it.
That was so cool. He's like,
not?
"You're what?" And she goes walking out, and it's funny because she's walked out onto the ship twice now, which isn't something we've really seen before
Outside of the cartoons, no.
outside of the
Yeah,
cartoons.
she just
And it's
does
like she just walks out there, and it's like, oh, okay, here she goes again. She likes being outside on the hull of the ship.
The visual effects again.
This is top tier visual effects for
Beautiful.
Lucasfilm.
yeah.
Like
This is what I expect out of Star Wars.
There's there's
tapping
at
on the
no
table.
point in the show where I'm like, that doesn't look real. Everything in the show looks like it belongs with all the practical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the purrgils are CG, and like they're
A lot
CG
of
because they're
purrgils
not
look
real
really
beings. But
good
even
for-
still, like the purrgils, they looked like they're just so well done that it's not jarring when you watch it.
Yeah.
It's immersive.
You know what I mean? It's
It's
different
not
than
an
like
uncanny valley.
watching episode 8. The space battle in the beginning of episode 8 is very jarring to watch because you can tell like real footage that's comped in. This is like they put such a like unique twist on it that it looks like it all meshes together. It's not uncomfortable to watch. And I mean
There was something about it too. Like I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some kind of behind the scenes for this show. Like if it's a combination of, because I know they do a lot of practical models.
Yeah.
So having practical models and her just in front of the
volume.
with a video, but like I'm predicting that like there was more to this to the the space whales than just being like totally CGI. Like I feel like there's
wouldn't
some
be
kind of
surprised if
like
there was a
it's they
model.
like it's a combination of like what they've done with the dinosaurs and stuff in
I
Jurassic
think
Park,
maybe, actually,
where it's a
this-
nice mixture of models with the enhancements to give it that depth that we.
I'm
that
going to
we
make a
desire.
bold statement here. I think this one episode puts like half the Marvel movies to shame in regards to visual effects.
Oh yeah.
yeah, 100%.
And like
ILM was doing great job.
I mean, ILM did the Marvel
has
movies too, but-
always done a great job, but it's just like this. I don't know, something about this just hits differently for me.
I'd put this on like close-up Thanos poor level.
Can you imagine if we saw
CGI.
this in theater? If we could have seen that on a big screen,
Right?
There was
yeah,
one closer.
and I think
Where was the closest one?
like
Philadelphia or
I
Pittsburgh
think
or something.
I was a little confused. So obviously she connects with the purrgil. They get in the purrgil mouth, and
Pinocchio.
Yang's like, "Excuse me."
So, are we going?
No.
Are we going the right way? I don't know.
fuck it.
Yeah,
Who knows?
and she's like, "I have no idea if we're going the right way." And then obviously the fleet shows up, and Carson's like, "Oh
Carson's-
yeah, they're doing their." thing,"
Carson's
and-
best Han Solo impression. We're fine
Yeah,
here.
we're all fine.
Everything's fine.
How are you?
And
Yeah.
so then
secret mission.
I love this because this is just straight up corny Star Wars, but the excuse that they got stalled so long is because he just sat there telling them the story of what was happening.
Right.
Like I love that. And that I do gotta say, like, that's kind of why I like Poe Dameron's fight at the beginning of episode 8, is he just kind of sits there and fucks with them. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I
You,
mean?
like,
And
cut back-
Carson's messing with
You
them.
cut back to him at the end, and he's like, and then the space
You're not going to
whales.
convince anyone that Marvel movie ass 2015 ass scene was fucking anything.
I'm just saying,
That
I
shit's
thought it
already
was-
aged out. That scene is already aged. It's
Oh
been
my
4
God,
years.
Dude, I'm not even allowed to
but
like it.
then,
No.
then
No one's
you,
allowed to have
you
fun.
cut back to Carson, and he's like, and then the space whales
Yeah, and
are
then-
gonna take them to where they need to go.
You might as well see C-3PO going Uchimocha, Ucho! and he's just telling his
So
story.
I have a concern that I want to raise,
Yeah.
which is, so I know that obviously they're supposed to go to Coruscant and they're going to get arrested and all that stuff, and so Hera's like, yeah, well, obviously we can't let them take Ahsoka, but I don't understand why. I mean, Hera doesn't care. Why didn't she go with them?
She has a child.
She's got a child, man.
So what? You know how many fucking times they bring children with
Because-
them?
Like we said-
he's force sensitive. Take him with you. He's
Wonder
gonna
why?
help you.
Wonder why?
I
Because
don't
the
fucking
show's
get
not
that.
called Ahsoka and Hera.
It's not
the
called
show's
Rebels.
called Ahsoka,
not called
and it's
Rebels,
not
season
Rebels.
5.
It's Ahsoka, and I think,
Yeah, you
and
got
I
a point.
and I do
And
like
honestly,
that
I want them to
Hera's
focus
been.
on Sabine and Ezra the next few
I
episodes.
feel that it's
so.
really important that now Ahsoka's got to go do this shit. She's got her robot for exposition with her, and now she can go do what she's got to do.
I think
And now Ahsoka is
Robot
also in the right
exposition.
mind state that whenever she gets back to Sabine, she's actually like a proper
she's
teacher
going-
Version
for
of
her.
herself,
Like,
yeah.
a proper the right
in-
teacher.
In the
maybe.
beginning, when she did like the Force Echo, she was upset with Sabine, and I don't think that's the mindset that she's gonna have when she goes. When she goes and finds her now.
Well, I think in regards to the whole thing, it's more of the storytelling. Hera's gonna get court-martialed. She's gonna get her stuff suspended. Blah blah blah. Right. It is what yada yada yada. She's not gonna be a general anymore, and then she's gonna become privatized, with her own ship.
A pirate.
Essentially, we're gonna see Hondo.
We're gonna see Hondo.
That would have been
Hello,
awesome.
it's me, Hondo.
So
Kenobi.
I think we're gonna see that. And, basically that's just gonna be what it is, and that's how it's gonna play out.
I don't think
This is a 2-season show, correct?
I don't know.
It's
We don't
not
have-
slated for second
We
season yet.
we know that they changed it from like a limited series to series, so there is planned to do
I-
a second series.
I don't
but it's
think-
not something like there's only 2 seasons planned.
I would
like
assume it's the
the
same
idea
thing as
for more.
Obi-Wan. Like, Obi-Wan's not just a limited series. They're probably going to attempt to do more if it doesn't get shut down.
Well, so
I don't think we're gonna see Hera at all anymore.
I think we'll see her in the finale,
Maybe, but I don't think she's gonna be in the next few
or
episodes.
the way that this is gonna end. This is just the ending was kind of what we get in the trailer. Like I said in the React video, is I think that we'll get Thrawn before Ezra. I think that the series is going to end where we're going to see Thrawn step into frame, and then that's just going to be the series.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
The trailer shot of him is you're talking the trailer
He's on
shot
the
of him.
ship in the
That's
first shot he's
definitely
in.
not going to be the very last shot.
Well, he's
of
literally
this
on the
season.
ship, so unless like I don't think the first shot will be him just like
But I
walking
think-
onto the bridge, which is the shot he's in.
I
Like,
think this sets this up, though, is the return of Thrawn is how they're going to continue to expand.
Well, I
the
think that's
universe.
going to be the plot of Filoni's
Well,
movie.
they obviously can't.
But
They
you guys
obviously
do realize
can't.
there's gonna be like 7 seasons of shit before
Yeah.
like Filoni's
Yeah.
movie ever sees the light of day. And
Yeah,
I
we've
wouldn't
got at
even
least
trust
one-
any
now
of
with the
those
strikes.
We've got at
movies
least one more
existing,
season
so.
of Ahsoka, and then eventually we're getting to a movie. And I think in the
Mando,
movie,
all the Mando shit's
all the
technically
Mando
leading up
shit
to
and
Boba.
whatever else
And if
we're
they do
getting.
Boba season 2
Right.
or
I'm
whatever,
excited to
and
see
Skeleton
the-
Crew and all this
all
shit.
that. That's all supposed to lead up to the movie, and I'm assuming that the movie, the bad guy is Thrawn.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that the plot of the movie is going to be they're going to actually kill Thrawn.
Yeah, more
I'm
similar
really
to that,
excited to see the new universe. Like,
It's the Milky Way galaxy. You're already
Yeah,
there, bud.
we've never seen a universe outside of this, so I wonder what if it. We might see some aliens we've never seen
Yeah, we're
before.
gonna
We
see
might
new-
see like a whole different like. I mean, it could be a complete
Like all those shitty aliens in Episode 8.
we're gonna see some ETs in there, because those are canon in
Oh
Star
yeah,
Wars.
ET is canon. But like
I see some lazy,
I'm excited
some
to
lazy
see that
costumes.
stuff, and I think so when they go off with I think what I'm thinking is I don't know if Hera's going to be gone for the next couple episodes, but I wonder if she'll be as involved as like I feel like her character so far, and I think continuing on is she's going to be about as involved as Mon Mothma was in Andor. Like, she just kind of showed up here and there and, like, provided stuff. But I definitely think at one point, like, she's going to go there and she's going to be like, sorry, she
Like,
went
she
off
might
to
be
fight
back for
Thrawn.
the finale,
And guess
if I had
what?
to
She
guess.
found a map. Well, now here's her proof. Ahsoka's leaving the galaxy. Here's her proof to be like, well, there is another galaxy and there's something else out there. So, you know what I mean? So I think we'll see a little bit of that. And I
Who has
definitely think
the-
we're getting Ezra
Who
next
has the
episode.
pieces of the map at
I
this
think
point?
Huyang still has them.
Ahsoka and Huyang have
She
them.
took them with them?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So,
I think she needs it
I
to get
wonder.
back.
I wonder if we're gonna get one of those things that once it's charted, it's charted. Like
That's a good point.
Because they are in a spaceship, so yeah. it
she's
could
in
be
a
charged.
That is
spaceship.
a
and that's
thing,
it.
yeah.
Look,
That's what they
there
did
is
in Survivor. So.
Jack. Christian,
GPS, you drop
Juliet.
a pin where you
Jack,
are.
Christian, Julian.
there is so much more to talk about.
Well, yeah, we have like 3 more episodes to go.
What are your predictions for the next episode?
Like I said, I think it's gonna be all Ahsoka. I think it's gonna be Ahsoka and Huyang. We're probably gonna get. It's probably gonna start off with Sabine, and them getting to the new universe.
Yeah, we get them.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that next episode is all Sabine and
Tanalorr.
Balin. Tanalorr. I wouldn't be surprised if it's all Sabine and Balin and Morgan and
Cal Kestis is just there chilling.
Shin Hati's there.
Such
I
an
gotta
overrated
keep in mind that there's this whole thing with Morgan saying that Thrawn's calling me, which we've already talked about. We don't think that it's Thrawn that's calling her. So I think they're gonna get wherever they are, and it's gonna be kind of like it's gonna be bad where they are.
The name of the ship, that's an actual Sith Lord in Legends, and like he's supposed to be like hella powerful.
He is.
So I
but
wouldn't
it's-
be surprised if Dave loves to pull from Legends.
But he's not from like those.
He's
time
from
period.
KOTOR.
He's from KOTOR.
He's an ancient Sith.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
wouldn't
I'm
be
pretty sure I have
surprised if
Cyan
they-
is an old
is.
canon thing as well, isn't it? No,
He is almost immortal. He uses his hate.
I don't think that's gonna be what we're doing. If
I
it's
mean,
gonna be like fucking.
it's a
gonna be like
possibility.
Night Sister adjacent stuff. If we're gonna be honest,
Yeah,
like they're just
probably.
gonna replace the anti-force stuff that was in the Unknown Regions in like the extended universe.
You know
what
what's
I'm
gonna
talking about?
happen?
They're just gonna replace
Somehow
that with Night Sister
Palpatine
magic.
returns.
Get out.
No, but
And he-
I
and he
think
flies
genuinely,
now.
Force
I
resistant Night
don't.
Sister magic.
Me personally, I don't think that's the last time we'll see Anakin. I think we might get another piece. If not, when she finds Ezra, I wonder if the two of them together might go back to the actual world between worlds. Would
Yeah.
be interesting to see, just the two of them, or maybe they bring, like, because I definitely think like that's I don't think that's the end of that, because like yeah, he teaches her, but like he said, I'm here to finish your training, and then she fights him, but
You know what? You're
they
probably
didn't really get anything out of it.
You're probably right, because in the trailer we hear him say, "You'll fight," unless I
Oh
completely
yeah, he
missed
does.
it in this
he
episode.
does say that in the
this
trailer.
war
He says,
you'll
"In this
fight more
war,
than
you'll fight
droids."
more than just
So
droids.
maybe he
as my
will be
master, it's my
back.
job to prepare you." So if that's not just a trailer thing, we're definitely going to see more
pretty sure
Anakin.
that's
I
just
did
a
not
trailer
even think
thing.
about that.
But you know what? That reminds me of the Order 66 training scenes from Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah,
It does,
That-
but
no, that's the
we
line
still
from Tales of
didn't
the
get
Jedi,
it
if I
in
remember
like
correctly.
unless I completely missed it.
No,
while
he
we
did
were
not say
screaming
it.
and
I'll have to
shouting.
rewatch.
He
He
said
did not.
something about you're gonna be. He didn't say the thing about fighting droids. He says, but he has to prepare you to fight. But there,
He said he has to prepare
you
you
know,
to be like a soldier.
I also
instead of a
think
Jedi,
that I
kind
think
of
that
sort of vibes.
I don't know if they'll go back to bed World Between Worlds, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get now. We'll get Force Ghost Anakin because
Yeah, 'cause he
now
could
she's
come
in
anywhere.
a now she's in a place that she can interact with a Force Ghost Anakin.
Kind of like how Kenobi turned off
right.
the Force. Okay.
Yeah,
And I like that. If you close yourself off to the Force, then you can't see that stuff.
Yeah.
But once you open yourself up, then it becomes easier for
I just got chills thinking.
So I think we might see the next time might be Force Ghost Anakin.
I definitely don't think that. Yeah, I definitely don't think that's the end of Anakin. But I have one biggest hope now, because we got number
Well,
one. Which
rebellions
was
are built
Anakin.
on hope. So keep
I mean,
that in mind.
the biggest thing that everybody wanted was that we saw Anakin. Yes, but my second biggest wish list item for this show is that Ezra and Kanan get to interact at some point.
Okay,
I would love to see Kanan at some point.
Freddie Prinze.
I think that picture of Kanan on her fucking
The dashboard.
Yeah, is about all you're gonna get.
I mean, and that's okay because we know he is there, and they've talked about. Oh, and also, I mean, he straight up says his father, Kanan Jarrus, which was just like enough for
first
me.
name drop.
Yeah.
And Carson's like, oh, okay.
He was
It's
just
also for
like
any
a-
fan that's like, why is this kid like force sensitive? Like all of a sudden.
So what are your predictions?
Yeah,
then,
do we have any other predictions before we wrap up?
Christian?
I got no fucking idea. We don't got any
Jordan,
trailer
what do you got?
footage. I don't even know. Just I'm trying to think.
The only trailer footage we have left is the shots of Thrawn.
That's the last shot.
Jordan.
Ezra won't be bad. That's all I'm predicting.
No, he
Ezra's
won't.
gonna be like fighting the good fight.
Ezra's
still.
dead. That's what's
I
really.
wouldn't be surprised if the fan theories that Ezra and Thrawn like are begrudgingly working together to survive.
That would be. I would love to see some shit like that.
That would fit. Again, I think we're gonna get Timothy Zahn like Thrawn. Like
Yeah.
we're not gonna get.
I
Rebels
have an
Thrawn. We're gonna
idea,
get
but
Timothy
I don't
Zahn
want to
Thrawn.
go too much into the legends. I'm just disappointed that I didn't get the Bendu.
He could still show up.
He could. He could. There is a deleted scene that Dave talked about,
Yeah, he just
and
released it.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's
Released the
possible.
deleted scene?
And then
like
there's
the storyboard-ish kind of thing.
yeah. Then there's the where Ahsoka meets Bendu, and then there's some figures that were just released also of size ratios of Bendu with Ahsoka, and it's just like
Yeah, he's huge.
so. That's
Rich,
still a
do you have
possibility.
any theories or hopes for the next episode?
I just keep, I'll be honest. If they I don't need to predict. Just keep giving me things that were just as good. I don't have any complaints.
No,
these
no.
first 5
at all.
episodes.
This was perfect.
And I'm, and I usually have, nope, I got nothing.
Christian
I liked that it wasn't, the whole episode wasn't just filler of, oh, look at them, now they're having coffee now. Like they condensed it down and they made it intense, and it was a roller coaster ride of emotion, which I liked. I liked that it was quick and it wasn't just a whole hour of that. So I just you know what? I trust in Filoni. In
Filoni we trust.
In Filoni we trust.
I think Christian said it best. Which now I had a thought and then I lost it. Fuck.
It's in the world between worlds.
No, I lost my thought.
I just I was trying to figure out what Rich was explaining. I really do like Go ahead.
Christian said it best in between watching the episode and doing this now, which was like what we got of Anakin was perfect. And, of course, obviously we all want more.
We all want more.
But it's not like this was enough. Like, I'm happy with this. I would have accepted
Anything
more.
more is just it's just throwing nostalgia at us
I would have
nostalgia.
accepted more very gladly, but I'm not disappointed. Like
This
I'm
is
not
like the right-
oh man, we didn't get more. Like I'm perfectly okay with this is what we got and I love it.
And they did
This
the
is
Clone
like-
Wars flashback, which is all we really cared
Yeah,
about.
that's what we wanted.
The
We
right-
wanted Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen in the
If we
Clone
made a
Wars.
list of what we wanted at the beginning of the season, you could fill in a lot of boxes. You could
Yeah,
be checking off.
we'd have some Ahsoka bingo already.
Right.
I'm very happy.
We can do that for... Never mind. We could do that for Skeleton Crew. Excuse me.
Could.
I think. All right. Does anybody else have anything?
So, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Wrong pipe.
Besides emphysema.
If you were somebody you know. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm really excited. If the season, obviously, if this, I think today would have been a great season finale to jump into another season, because I would have been left satisfied to be like, okay, now I want more. But I still want more. I'm not going to say no to more. This is
got
the
3
right
more
size
episodes.
piece
More
of cake.
episodes.
That's the best way I can explain it. This is the right size piece of cake.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that.
This was really good.
I think we're. You got something?
I'm just gonna wrap it up.
Oh.
I have a
what?
question of the day.
What's the question of the day?
How dare you?
How dare I?
Yeah, that's true.
How dare you?
Do you think that Ezra
Look at the camera.
will train Jason in how to use the Force?
Ooh.
All right, now to the real question of the day.
No, that's a good question.
Get
I won't
out!
take it. I won't take it from him.
What
All
was
right.
your question? Because I'm curious.
My question of the day was, is this the last time we're going to see Anakin? Period.
Oh no,
Or
I can.
Do you think we're going to get more?
get more.
And if so, what do you think we'll get? Because it's this was in a very, very, very important thing that all Star Wars fans have wanted for a very long time. And so and I know that it's a simple question by saying are we going to see him again? But it's really, really important to the fact that we saw him at all. Yeah. So do you think we'll see him again? But yes, I do agree. Do you think Ezra will train Jason? I guess maybe I hadn't gotten there yet because we haven't seen Ezra.
No, I understand. I'm just with the hopes that he's alive. Or maybe Ahsoka will take on Jason as a second apprentice.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Imagine how heartbroken we'd all be if
Ezra's dead.
Ezra's dead, and the only reason they cast that
Was for that little hologram?
just for the hologram.
I doubt it. That would suck. I'd be so mad.
All right.
Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and
All the support that you guys have given us over the past week means so much, and we hope that you guys stick around for more reacts and podcasts and all sorts of things. Check out our TikTok, tiktok.com/716th Attack Legion. YouTube, you can subscribe there. All the links will be right in the description
We
below.
have a link tree.
We do have a link tree on the TikTok. You click on that, and it will take you to everything that you need. But seriously, guys, keep it up. Keep it up with the views, the likes, the shares, subscribe. Keep hanging out with us, and we'll keep hanging out with you guys. It's going to be great. Also, this Friday, live on our TikTok, me, Jack, and Jordan are all going to be building this giant ghost for Fun Lego Friday with Julian. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for that.
Thank you to bicbp-radio.com
and Emerge
and Emerge Studios and Moranto Media. And again, we couldn't do this without fans like you guys. So, Jack?
We talked about it a little bit, but we might be doing a giveaway when we reach 1,500.
1,500 followers on TikTok.
We'll send you a nice custom hoodie.
And 2,000 followers gets me a Jar Jar Binks tattoo.
That's right.
Yeah, so stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. This is Julian signing off. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.